2008, the NDC presidential candidate, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, as part of his plans towards accelerated national development, promised policies and programs aimed at putting Ghana at levels unprecedented in our history. 3 years down the line, the NDC prides itself at achieving her set agenda as contained in that social contract signed with the people of Ghana in 2008. From the establishment of 2 new universities in the Volta and the Brong-Ahafo region to the elimination of schools under trees, the Better Ghana agenda has moved into upper gears going into the 2012 general elections under the able leadership of President John Evans Atta Mills, described by many as Asumdwe Hene. Tonight on Majority Caucus, we are discussing the success story of the Better Ghana agenda with Madelo Wanda, who is a member of the government communication team, and Peter Buama Otokuno, who is also a member of the government communication team. Good evening, young men, and welcome to Majority Caucus.
Yeah.
Good evening, Felix. I can see today you are looking very bright and fresh.
Yeah, I think we are all glowing
under the Better Ghana.
Under the Better Ghana agenda.
Sure,
and then, in as much as some people think that the Better Ghana agenda is not achieving the desired objectives, tonight we are going to look at the details of what we've been able to do so far under the 3 years of His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills, and compared to all kinds of comments that were made over the weekend at the launch of some constituency rally at Domi Kwabenya, which was a subject of discussion yesterday extensively on the minority version of Caucus. Let me begin with Peter. Yeah, Peter, what are your introductory remarks? Akufo-Addo says that the Better Ghana agenda has failed. What are your introductory remarks?
Felix, first of all, I have never seen our politics reduced so low until last Monday when I heard Nana Akufo-Addo and Baumia speak at that rally. I got so disappointed, and for a moment I felt that, wow, man have to leave politics. Because indeed, I know fair-minded people who were listening to Nana Akufo-Addo that day would think twice if their children or their grandchildren want to venture into politics. Why am I saying this? You have a presidential candidate saying on a political platform that the Better Ghana has failed and that his government will never pay judgment debt. And I said, wow, who is talking? This is a former Attorney General who, under his watch, supervised the negotiations and the payment of judgment debts.
Okay.
Who, when he was a cabinet minister, sat in decisions where they decided to pay judgment debts. Today, because of political convenience and because of what I would describe as politics of Aluguntugun,
which one is that?
He will go and stand on the platform and say that he is not going to pay judgment debt. The issue about the Better Ghana being a failure is something that I was surprised about when I realized that none of the people standing there was hooting at him. Because immediately he made that statement. If I were an NPP member and I was on that grounds, I would have hooted at Nana Addo. Why? Because Nana Akufo-Addo is the only person who, from the time of birth, where he lived, he had never seen an asphalt in front of his house.
Okay.
And in his
you mean his house at Nima?
Nima.
His father's house at Nima?
That is where he grew up.
Okay.
He never saw an asphalted road until Professor Mills came into power.
Okay.
So for somebody like Nana Akufo-Addo, I thought that he was going to be a better champion of the Better Ghana agenda rather than say that it's a failure. But obviously, because of politics of Aluguntugun, he couldn't have said that the Better Ghana was going well.
Okay.
Felix, I would want to briefly let people know about why Nana Akufo-Addo was not being truthful, why he was being hypocritical on that platform.
Okay. Before we even get into the details, let me take one that's preliminary comments and then we go straight into the details.
Felix, for me, I see what is happening in Ghana today, especially from the opposition, as a disappointment. And one would have expected that they give us a very credible opposition. They give us a very an opposition that is informed, an opposition that is offering alternative policies, an opposition that is watching critically to see what is happening in Ghana. But unfortunately for us, we don't get that. All we get at the end of the day is insults and comments and how that somebody is not performing, how that somebody is sick. They are more interested in the health of people rather than even in the policies that they want to bring to bear. I mean, 4 years down the line, you've been in opposition. We thought that they could have been coming up with alternative policies in some of the places that perhaps we must have slacked or something of the sort. But you don't see these things happening, and it's becoming a bit of a problem. It's becoming a bit of a challenge. Ghanaians are beginning to wake up to the reality that, of course, the NPP has nothing to offer. And I am disappointed. Why am I disappointed? Because this is happening under a man who touted himself as an opium of democracy, as an icon of democracy, and that he was going to bring to bear policies and programs and all that. But at the end of the day, we only see policies that are so pedestrian, policies that, if you look at it from a holistic view, are non-achievable.
They are scattered, dreams. Yes, disjointed and scattered.
Disjointed dreams and all that. Of course, it's good to make promises and all that. But if you want to make promises, tell us they're going to make promises. Okay. From the word go, Nado told this whole country that he wasn't going to make promises. He was going to bring out programs and policies. But and at the end of the day, it's all it all has to do with promises, one promise from one to the other, and all it's so populist, so it's done in a manner to just garner votes. For me, I think that is disappointing, and they should wake up to the reality.
Okay, let me come back to Peter. Peter, you wanted to give us some details of why you describe Akufo-Addo's kind of politics as one that Ghanaians should not be taken seriously.
Yeah, clearly, Felix. As I said, the main reason why I was surprised that all the people at the platform didn't hoot at Nana Akufo-Addo is that he just came from the Upper West region, where he did a couple of tours, made some utopian promises, and said some or die be die stuffs, which we will later go into. What Nana Akufo-Addo didn't know was that in the Upper West region, Professor Mills have built a school for the St. Francis Girls Senior High School. Okay. He has built a dormitory for them. That is what he didn't know. Okay. He didn't also know that when you go to the Queen of Peace Senior High School, Professor Mills has built a 6-unit classroom block for them, under which the students are having quality education.
You are focusing on the upper West region alone?
Yes, because he's coming from there. Okay. What he doesn't know is that when you go to Babile, there is a water project which is supplying water, which he told the other people, the people in the community were not getting. What he doesn't know is that when you go to the senior high school in Wa, that is Wa Sectec, for the first time, they are seeing ultra-modern dining hall, ultra-modern classroom block, and an ultra-modern dormitory for the students. That is what he didn't know. Probably he knew all this, but because he would want to play the politics of Alubuntugui, so he wouldn't want to recognize all this kind of development. Again, when you go to Zabila, the people of Zabila are better witnesses of the Better Ghana agenda, because when you go to Zabila Senior High School, for the first time, they are seeing an ultra-modern dining hall, which can take the largest chunk of the students at the same time. What he doesn't also know is that at the same Zabila, Professor Mills, just some few months ago, commissioned a water project which is supplying quality water to the people of that area.
In the Upper West region alone?
In the Upper West region. Okay. That is why today, as we speak, the issue of guinea worm is no more a problem.
Eradicated.
That is why we have totally eradicated the guinea worm, menace. Because otherwise, people were fetching water from from streams and so on and so forth. That is where they were getting the disease. Nana Akufo-Addo doesn't know that the people in the Upper West region, those in Lambusi,
I've been to Lambusi myself,
and so on and so forth, for the first time have seen ultra-modern polyclinics. Clinics they have otherwise never set eyes on. They have never set foot there before. Okay. Today they are seeing ultra-modern polyclinics, and when their wives are pregnant, when their children get malaria, when they get stomach ache and they get headache, they don't die. And that is the main reason why Alhaji Mustafa will go and queue and vote for any government to come and rule them. Okay. So if you come to Upper West, and what you can say is that you still stand by your or die be die, and that people should die for you to become president, and that Etiwa cry bibi kakra, which you have said earlier on. But apparently, because of his politics of Alugun to win, he said there that he said they all die because we beat them at Etiwa.
Yeah, meanwhile, that was only the impression that we got from the first statement.
Yes, meanwhile, from the original statement, you said that Etiwa cry bibi kakra which means that you wounded people at Etiwa, you slapped people at Etiwa, and that you have shown a little bit of the all die be die. And that the 2012, you are going to show the gargantuan all die be die. So if you go there and say that, oh, because of how the NDC behaved at Etiwa, so all die be die, then you are reducing the politics to the standard of the dustbin, and they should be condemned.
Okay, let me come to Wanda. If you want to ask more.
No, Felix, I think we should also look at a few things that have happened within the 3-year period under Professor Morse.
Yeah.
You see, in the NPP manifesto in 2000, when they came to power, they promised a few things, and you want to find out whether they have been able to live up to such expectations that they gave Ghanaians. If you look at page 15 of their 2000 manifesto, one says what? Adequate drainage facilities, particularly in urban areas, to protect life and property. Did that happen? No. You talk about adequate water supplies in urban and rural areas. In fact, it was under President Kufuor that we saw what they call the Kufuor gallons, the yellow gallons that were used at filling stations. Today, the ones that we use for fried oil and all that. Today, that has become a very popular business to go into under President Kufuor gallons. It happened under him. That was the time when he promised Ghanaians that they were going to give us water, clean water, both in urban and rural areas. Ask me, by the time they were leaving office after 8 years, what was the achievement of the Kufuor government in that area? They talked about the fact that they were going to do programs to ensure affordable energy and power sufficiency. In fact, under President Kufuor, for the first time in the history of this country, Ghana was in total blackout for 1 whole year. In fact, there were times that whole ministers come to tell us that they were going to fix the energy problem on a particular date, and those dates never existed in our calendar. In fact, it goes on and on. On page 29.
31st September.
Yeah, 31st September. Page 29 of their 2000 manifesto. They said what? The NPP government will seek to alleviate this pressure by rapidly establishing decentralized polytechnics. Ask me, under President Kufuor, for the 8 years, how many polytechnics were established? They told us they were going to do it in every district. Every district of this country, they were going to put polytechnics in every district. Ask me, under their tenure, many polytechnics struggled. Polytechnics like those, that of the one in Takoradi, the one in the eastern region, many of them were near collapse because they didn't even have the needed infrastructure to even accommodate their students. So when you talk about the fact that a government is in power, 4 years down the line, they have established 2 universities, 2 brand new universities. One they couldn't do in 8 years. Spintex Road has been fixed. You go on the road now, and it's so beautiful, it's so organized, it's so perfect, and traffic flow is so good, it's so nice. You look at the one from the bypass from the Malam Junction all the way to Tetukwashi, that has been fixed. From Akachi all the way to Aflau has been fixed, and you see what is happening on the Eastern Corridor. It's fantastic. This is one of the biggest achievements in our history, and I think that as Ghanaians and as people who love this country and love patriotism, love nationalism and all that, we should rally around the president and give him a handshake, because he deserves that. He deserves our salutations for the things he's doing. And I am so marveled. I'm so marveled to the extent that 4 years, under 4 years, a government can achieve this. To me, it is one of the best things that have happened.
Yeah, even taking it from there, in the past, the NPP itself described His Excellency the President as somebody who is incorruptible.
Yeah.
They also described the president as Dasum Johini.
Thank you.
They described the president as somebody who is a good man, but happens to be in the wrong party.
That was the argument.
And then they gave so much respect, and then they gave so much a clean bill of health to His Excellency the President as to his ability to run Ghana and manage Ghana's own economy.
Yeah.
How come a few years down the line they seems to be flip-flopping on their own on their own credentials?
You have to understand something. The dynamics have changed. At the time, it was John Kufuor who was the presidential candidate, and so you'll expect some. For President Kufuor, we all honor him for what he's done. I mean, the level at which he has he's been able to run the politics, that was clean. It was fine. But no, it's not the same under Nanado. This is a different character altogether, a different personality with different perceptions and all that. And most of the times, his understanding and perception is clouded by the fact that he's lived in a very good home all his life, and so those of us who are down don't understand the world from which he was coming, and so that's why before we get to this level.
But he's drinking pure water. He's eating yam, drinking pure water.
That's the populism I told. That's the cheap populism I told you. When Atamils was going door to door, campaigning and explaining his policies and programs to the Ghanaians in this country, they said it was what name did he give it? Today they've gone round. When President Moose talked about the fact that it is only God who can make him president, he talks about the fact that it is only God who can make him to be alive or to be dead one day. They say that, oh, well, politics is not about God and all that.
It's not about religion.
God, it's not about religion and all. Today, they go around running around pastors. Even in church, they don't even have respect for God. They do what they want to do and all that. And they organize. They are the first to even organize what they call the national prayer, or something in the stadium. And at the end of the day, what we saw was disgusting. Last year, when they were in power, and Nanado was contesting, what they did was a road show or
a beach party,
disco. Disco. That's what we saw.
Yeah.
But you see, down the line, things have changed.
Okay.
And they're now looking for God.
Okay.
You see, God is not the fool.
Okay. Look, okay. Yeah. We go. He's a just God. Yeah. He's a just God. And then he judges us according to.
He watches the hearts of a man.
Okay. All right. Okay. Peter, beginning from you, Akufo-Addo touts the good works of President Kufuor and describe his government as the best. How do you assess that comparison?
Felix, you see, I've always said that the disrespect of Akufo-Addo knows no boundaries because he can disrespect everybody. I saw the height of Nana Akufo-Addo's disrespect to President Kufuor on that platform on Monday.
Okay. How
can you say on a platform of which President Kufuor was there that President Kufuor's government is indeed the best government that we've seen in this country?
How do you say that?
I think that was a complete slight on the image of President Kufuor.
Okay.
Because indeed, President Kufuor even knows that his government was not the best. They didn't perform. They failed. That is why a week ago, I heard Nana Akumia, the communication director of Nana Akufo-Addo, on Asempa FM, saying that they are not going to campaign on the records of President Kufuor. So if your communication director says that they are not going to campaign on the records of President Kufuor, and you will go and sit in front of President Kufuor and say that his government was the best, then I think you will slight him, especially when we know what they did in 4 years. I have with me the 4 years of positive change. So far, so good. This is the 4 years achievement book produced by the NPP government when they were in power. In fact, it was edited by Damboche, who was the Minister of Information. And Felix, you will be amazed what's in this book. When you open from page 1 to page 30 or page 35, all you see is President Kufuor holding picnic with foreign dignitaries, President Kufuor and Obasanjo drinking wine, and so on and so forth. And it is amazing. When you flip through these pages, what you see as achievement is very amazing.
President Kufuor is with Abdoulaye Wade here.
Abdoulaye Wade here, drinking wine.
Yeah.
President Kufuor and some delegates who attended the ECOWAS meeting.
Yeah, those were the achievements.
And these were the achievements from page 1 to page 35. And you'll be amazed that when you are even expecting to see more significant things, you see a 2-shelf library, you will see a monkey standing on some tree at Fiema Monkey Sanctuary.
That's page 40.
Yes, page 40. I don't know whether the monkey was smiling. You see a picture of the Cape Coast Castle.
That has been painted.
That has been painted, and that is an achievement. You will see the King Takitewia Monument. This is a significant achievement. And you will be amazed when you go further and see the worst of it all. Aliu Mahama on page 63 is kicking ball to start fun games. And that also is an achievement. I think everybody must get a copy of this achievement book produced by the NPP when they were in power. So amazing. Just look at all this. A crowd chair president in the greater Accra region.
And that was captured as an achievement.
And this is captured as an achievement. So the NPP government was so abysmal in terms of performance. They failed so miserably. And in their first 4 years, they did absolutely nothing. Now, what is the claim to fame of the NPP in terms of achievement? School feeding program. It started September 2005, second term.
During the second term.
During the second term. National health insurance. It started in March 2005. The bill was actually passed 18th March 2004. Capitation grant. It started 2005, 2006.
But even the capitation grant is a constitutional provision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Produced by the NDC
Yeah,
when
it's a constitutional provision. Yeah.
The National Youth Employment Program commenced in 2006. The Livelihood Empowerment Program, 19th March 2008. So when you look at the 4 years of the NPP, they did absolutely nothing.
There's nothing there to be proud of?
Absolutely nothing. Very embarrassing. And that is why President Kufuor doesn't even talk about his first step.
Okay.
That is why the NPP does not even talk about their first step. That is why most of the NPP today will tell you that they are so amazed about the performance of President Mills, but unfortunately they don't have a choice. And that
as captured in the Green Book?
As captured in the Green Book.
Okay.
The opposition is bitter, so they have to come back to power. So as we speak, the NPP does not have any single reason why they want to come back to power.
Okay, let me come to it.
They don't know the reason why. They don't know the reason why they would have to come back to power.
Okay.
All that they know is that when they come to power, there is an opportunity for them to loot.
Okay.
Like they looted the state lands, the state properties, and the state money.
Okay, let me come to one.
Yeah, Felix, you know, contrary to what the NPP did in their 4 years, now we have also come out with our achievements.
Yeah.
So this is record to record, achievement to achievement, and then governance to governance.
Page to
you
page.
see, from page to page, and ours is just an 87-page report. From page 40 all the way down to page 87, you talk about projects. If your camera can zoom in, from region to region, you see that of the northern region, school projects, borehole projects,
roads,
you see
hospitals.
roads. That all this is for the northern sector. You go to other regions, everything: hospitals, polyclinics, roads, housing projects, and all that. Housing for teachers, for our hospitals, and all that. But prior to even that page, the bigger national picture of what we did in our 4 years, you will see first and foremost the Bupe share nut factory being commissioned by the president. You will see that of, just a minute. You see the booming tilapia industry. Today, Ghanaians can afford.
It's a major investment today.
Thank you very much. Can afford to invest in tilapia. Can afford to invest in projects. I mean that's marvelous. Then you go from page to page. You see how cocoa has been developed over the period, how that we've hit the 1 million tonnage. You see the buses that were procured for schools, for our science resource centers to be rehabilitated. In fact, under President Kufuor, out of the 109 science resource centers that were built under Chairman Rawlings, none of it, almost all collapsed. I can show you an evidence. You can go to Presec Legon and see the state of the science resource center when they were living off. Everything was done. Under our tenure, in 8 years, we have revamped 89 of that, and the rest are in progress. You go forward, you see schools that were built
and then the national level. The 60,000 laptops
and this is amazing.
You see the Tamale, I want the cameras to get it. You see the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Look at it, an ultra-modern hospital. Teaching hospital, not in the history of Ghana. Before we had only two, Kumasi and Accra. Today, those in the northern region, I mean those in the UDSs who are studying medical science, can sit there, study, and come out with their degree. You see the ambulance that was procured. You see the Takwa Regional Hospital.
New hospital,
I mean, so gargantuan and so big.
But
so big.
Yeah, Wanda, going forward, during the tenure of the President Kufuor regime, we heard of issues about how the party chairman, Haruna Iseku, accused the President Kufuor himself of taking kickbacks from the castle and putting them in car boots, and then how the party doesn't even get their share of the money. We have heard stories about how cocaine, you know, even the cocaine trade, according to WikiLeaks report, was even being run by people from the seat of government, which was from the castle. They mentioned names as people who were involved in the cocaine trade. And then we've had so many scandals under the Kufuor regime. So how come Akufo-Addo, on hindsight of all these scandals and all the negative things that they did, that the people of Ghana rejected them in 2008, will stand on a campaign platform and say that the Kufuor government was the best?
There's one thing you have even forgotten. There was this story of, I mean, alleged, of course, of this story. We've all heard it in the media everywhere, of Nanado's cousin or nephew or whatever.
No, it's not alleged. I mean, this is real. I mean, it's somebody who is
also involved in the drug trade.
Even the missing diplomatic
and we are told, we are told that he
in fact, the chief of staff was also arrested.
We're told that the diplomatic passport got into the hands of such people. And there's one achievement of Nana Addo many people don't know. One of the achievements was that he was the only Ghanaian attorney general who, during his tenure, advocated that people who are caught in drug trade and jailed abroad should be brought to Ghana.
So they can come and serve their sentence.
And so
the Christian
and so for me, that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes of what is in a man's heart, because what's in your heart will eventually show up in your actions. And so for me, I think this is unfortunate. The NPP lacks the moral aptitude to argue on the basis of the fact that they have a better idea of governance and they have the flurry of governance. I think it's unfortunate, and they know themselves that. I mean, comparing the records one-on-one, the NDC and the NPP, President Mills and Nana Addo. I mean, he knows. Nana Addo and President Mills were schoolmates. And he knows what capability Actor Mills brings to bear. He knows how much the man is stained. He knows how much the man is focused on dealing with the corruption, dealing with drug trade, and dealing with all the issues. He has received the backlash. Actor Mills has received the backlash over the years for having to tighten the system. If you remember, when we took over office in 2009, 2010, they were saying the system is too hard because the president doesn't want to release funds and all that.
The drug trade was not booming
so you understand how come 2 years, 1 year down the line, they say the man is not competent.
Okay, let me come.
So it's an irony.
Okay, let me come quickly to Peter. Peter, just yesterday, 1,600 outboard motors was procured by the MASLOC, that is the small, medium and small scale loans project, for onward distribution to fishermen. And even that, the fishermen are supposed to pay about 70% of the cost, while government absorbs some aspects of that. In addition to the issue of the premise for that have been completely solved in the fishing industry alone. Not to talk about the 3 billion CDB facility that we're expecting, and how from Qatar to Axim to Discov, how landing beaches are going to be constructed all over the place to help the fishing industry to boom. These are concrete steps that government has taken. How come in the midst of all these, Nana Addo still says that the Better Ghana agenda has failed?
Politics of Alu going to be. That is the simple reason. You know, Nana Akufo-Addo and his political party have a very, very, very dilapidated image. The NPP is known for dealing in cocaine, dealing in hard drugs. They are known for looting, buying state lands at 1 Ghana cedi, 2 Ghana cedi, 1,000 Ghana cedi, and so on. Like President Kufuor bought 6 plots of land for 4,000 Ghana cedi.
6 plots?
Those watching me today, if you have 4,000 Ghana cedi today, I think we should one day, early in the morning, knock the doors of President Kufuor and give him that 4,000 Ghana cedi and ask him to give us a land. And let's see whether we'll be able to provide a land for us, a plot of land. They looted our lands. They dabbled in this cocaine and drug trade. They dabbled in corruption, as Arne Soku said. They were collecting kickbacks in the castle, taking 10% here and there. So they have a very dilapidated image when it comes to Ghanaian politics. Unfortunately for them, in their attempt to rehabilitate their image, they elected Nana Akufo-Addo, who is also a sportsman. Somebody who has been accused by his own people as somebody who deals with drug dealers. His own in-law was a drug dealer. He has been arrested twice, yet he gave him a diplomatic passport. His own chief of staff, Amfo Kwakye, following him every day, has served a jail term for smuggling weed in yams to the UK. Most of the people around him being arrested in drugs here and there. He himself has been accused by the former US ambassador to Ghana, Pamela Bridgewater, to be smoking marijuana and so on and so forth. You recall that the US diplomatic cables that were leaked revealed that Nana Akufo-Addo, apart from the fact that he's arrogant, apart from the fact that he's being sponsored by some mafia Achim squad, he's a womanizer and he's an occasional marijuana or smoke. Kwesi Pratt also revealed that he wakes up early morning with a thick cloud of smoke on his head. And that he smokes a lot. Kwesi also said that with his drug use, even the German intelligence are aware of that. And clearly this is somebody who has a shattered image and would not want to play a politics of messaging. He would want to play a politics of scavenging. So that anything that comes up, any political leftover, they'll be hunting on it and making a lot of noise. That is why, as we speak, they don't have a campaign.
His Excellency the President has delivered on promises and the manifesto promise captured in the 2008 manifesto for his first tenure of office. He's made mention of projects, infrastructure, health-wise, education, SADA, and all major areas in the sector of Ghana's economy that needed the necessary attention: job creation, agriculture, fisheries, and many, many more. So the verdict being passed by Akufo-Addo that the Better Ghana agenda has failed. Is that really the case? Let me come back to my guest in the studio. Let me begin from Wanda.
Felix, like I told you, most of the time the criticism from the opposition has been disjointed. It's not been very, very, should I say, fair. They have always skewed whatever their judgment has been towards their capture of power. They say recapture of power. As if it's a bed out there you can just go and trap.
At all costs.
I mean, it takes God, or it takes the people, the will of the people, which is the will of God, to win an election. And that's one of the things they have refused to understand for the short period in which they've been in opposition. And I find it very, very, very worrying. We have been in opposition for 8 years, and we're patient for our time. And so they should just be patient. When their time comes and the will of the people so desires, they will get it. However, they must be made to be aware that most of the promises they have promised, in their 2000 manifesto, for instance, they said they were going to do a railway line from the southern sector, which is from Accra, all the way up north. I mean, from here to up north, you're talking about 1,200 kilometers. And they said they were going to do it over a decade. Tell me, by the time when they were leaving office, they had done just a stretch all the way from Accra to the north. All that we saw was the one to Asoprochona. I mean, in Tama.
Even that was not completed. They didn't even do the rail. They imported the coaches.
Thank you very much.
And it sat at the Teva Harbour.
Thank you very much.
Until the Mills administration had to build the railway lines from now. It goes beyond Asoprochona to Tama Community 1.
Yes, to Tama Community 1. Of course, I live in Community 2, so Community 3, so I understand exactly where this stands. Now, so the part of their, or most of their judgments have not been fair. It has always been skewed towards how they win elections, how that they have to win at all costs, or kill everybody so they can win, or people must die for them so they can win. And so promises are no more based on objectivity, they are no more based on the national interest, they are no more based on the fact that people need butter and bread, and that butter and bread must inform their actions and all that. Even in opposition, they have not shown that clearly. How can you tell me that I live in a community where for several years, since Ghana was born as a country in 1957, we've never had a university, we've never seen a school, we've never seen what is happening on the other side of the world. Today, if I have that in my community and you come and tell me, stand in front of me and tell me that, oh, the Better Ghana is not working, you think I'll believe that? That's not possible. Today, before I came to this studio, somebody sent me a text. He said, Wanda, let me know, let the people know that in Lamboya Model School, which is in Boku West District, in the Upper East. He said, listen, in 2003, that school was made a model school by the NPP. Of course, to satisfy the people and to say that we're going to do something about it. But from 2003 up to the time they left office, nothing was done. Then the guy says that in 2009, they had their first GSS. Classroom blocks have been built. Hitherto they used to study under trees. Classroom blocks have been built. 4-unit teachers' quarters is being built as we speak. There's a borehole that is functioning at the moment in the school. He says 24 laptops have been given to this school, and I mean to improve ICT.
So the school now has been operational.
I'm telling you, to improve ICT, and a lot of work is going on at the moment. They said they are also looking at a dining hall in the process, and all that is going on. How can you tell me? If I come from this village and I see these things happening for myself, and you come and stand in front of me and tell me that nothing is happening, the economy is flat and all that, it's only because perhaps where you used to get your money from. Of course, the NPP, we know where they were getting the money from. It was from kickbacks, from Castle, and from how much they could amass for themselves and all that. Today, of course, the lines have been cut, and so they don't get some of these freebies any longer. So
let me come to Peter. Yeah, Peter.
Felix, I think that it's about time that the NPP is exposed big time. Because one, they have shown beyond all reasonable doubt that they don't have a message. One, they started with free basic school. They realized that the constitution have provided for it, and people are even going to school free in the basic school. So they hop to senior high school, free senior high school. at a point in time, they hope to free university.
Yeah, that was somewhere.
At some other points in time, they said that they can convert Ghana into a first world country in 10 years. Obviously, when you come into power, you don't have 10 years to rule. So their campaign is engulfed by total lies and total confusion. But look, the people of Ghana, when you are talking to them, you must credit them with some modicum of knowledge. Okay. Why am I saying that? They mount the platform and say that, oh, because of judgment debt, because the NDC government has paid judgment debt, they have failed. The Better Ghana has failed. And you ask yourself, what at all was in the Better Ghana? What was in the Better Ghana was that we promised the people that we will produce quality healthcare, we'll build a strong economy, expand infrastructure, build a transparent and accountable government. You understand? And when you look at all these areas, we have made serious and enormous strides in them. Serious achievements. For instance, when you look at feeder roads alone, feeder roads, within our 3 years, we have been able to do routine maintenance on about 5,149 kilometers of roads in Ghana. Wow. In the 8 years of the NPP, do you know how many kilometers they did? No. They did 3,282.
We've almost doubled that.
We've almost doubled in 3 years. 3 years. In 8 years, you did 3,000 and over. And we have done 5,000. So how can you say that such a government has failed? Again, let me break down most of the roads that we've done across the country. You see, sometimes this is very important. People don't see the relevance. But it is very important because if I'm sitting here, I don't know what is going on in Kumasi. Now, when you come to Accra, the major road projects that we've done, Dansuma Highway, the Gadgisbed Road, that is a place I grew up. And you'll be amazed. When I went there some few weeks ago, I was just shocked. To see that road, now a dual carriage road.
Even the Pambros.
It's so amazing. When you use the Pambros road, you will just be shocked. That bypass, that is connecting the Kaswa and Dansuma. That is so amazing. You look at the Spintex Road and the Polo Grounds bypass, which has been constructed. Just yesterday, I was speaking to a gentleman, and he told me that, oh, Professor Mills has done so well, and he can't imagine why anybody would say that the Better Ghana is not going well. Because if for nothing at all, he was using about 2 hours to move from Spintex Road to Accra. Now he's using less than an hour. And that is a serious improvement because it has increased its productivity. Okay. These are the things that we are looking at. Go to Ajingano. Go to East Legon. Now all the East Legon roads have been asphalted. That is a very significant achievement. Again, look at the Teshi roads. Today, when you are traveling through Teshi, you can go within a lesser time than previously. Go to Tema. Now the mayor of Tema, do you know his nickname? No. Mr. Asphalt. Because he has asphalted the whole of Tema.
Wow.
After Nkrumah built the Tema community, of which the NPP opposed when during Nkrumah's time, it is only the NDC government that has done such a significant job there. Okay. That is why people of Tema today are calling on the local government minister, Ofoswap, to come and save them.
To go to parliament for them.
To go to parliament for them. You understand? Because of the significant achievement that we are talking as a government. Go to Lashibi, go to Bombay Road, Tema Oil Refinery, go to Asaman, and so on and so forth. When you go to Cape Coast, you will even be amazed. I went to Cape Coast for about a 3 days working visit, and I was surprised the kind of development I saw there. Do you know that on Monday, the Premise Committee of Cape Coast are inaugurating a clinic?
Oh,
and a community center.
Built from their own resources?
From their own resources, from the premise.
Wow.
On Monday, they are inaugurating it there in Elmina. This is so amazing, and you cannot get this kind of government under an Akufo-Addo government. You will never get it anywhere. Again, go to places like the Esukuma Junction to Hohoi. Yeah. Go and see the work that is being done.
Yeah, it's been done. I've been there myself.
You have been there yourself. Go to Dodo Pepesu and Nkwanta. The Adomi Bridge.
Yeah, and even this morning, I was on Facebook and I realized somebody posted a picture of the Techiman Road that has been completed and that has been done neatly in the Brongahafo region.
And Felix, you will be amazed some kind of road that is being constructed from Asankregwa to Seshwibekwai.
Okay.
You will be amazed. Very, 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 very beautiful road on that stretch. And it's a very, very, very long stretch. A road you were otherwise using 3 hours. Right now, when you are going, you use less than an hour from Asankregwa to Seshwibekwai. These are the things the people are looking for.
Okay.
People are saying, the farmers are saying, that we want to farm, produce more food, stay on the farm, pick a phone, call the trucks to come and pick the food for people to go and eat.
And they need the roads.
And they need the roads. And that is what Professor Mills is doing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you know, that as I said, the NPP's kind of politics is a politics of scavenging. They said that, oh, the roads are not good. We did the roads, and they are saying that roads, you know,
okay, all right.
They said the economy is broke. They fix it. We fix the economy. They say economy, no,
okay.
You say we should dream big. We go and get $3 billion loan. You say, oh, it's too big. So what at all should we do?
Okay, come back to studio. Yeah, one if you want to add a few words.
It's important to put some other partnerships the government is entered into with some private individuals in order to just upgrade the living conditions of our people. For instance, we have
a first caller. Let me pick a caller from Bongo. Hello.
Hello, fellas.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, fellas. How are you?
Very well, my brother.
Peter, good evening.
Good evening.
You people have made my mind, fellas.
Okay.
This is Abu calling from Bongo High Street.
Okay.
But fellas, some of us, we fought for this NDC party to come to government. And fellas, this evening I'm making it. It's a word of caution for some people. The party will not forgive anybody that would try to send back the NDC to opposition.
Okay.
But this evening I'm putting my words carefully. Peter, you are Nara, first I'm not you. But this evening, in fact, I believe you are doing the party more hard than good. Tell us what the NDC can do for the people of Ghana. Nana is a cocaine addict. He is a womanizer. It's not a part in this country. I believe the electorate on the street will not be expecting to hear Nana is a womanizer. I believe the person would not be happy hearing you say something a womanizer. With the president on how we are going to vote for, he's coming to speak to my wife in the house. They're only voting for somebody who comes and what you will be a competent leader.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, my caller from Bongo. Let me pick Shaggy. Hello, Shaggy from Nima. Hello.
Good evening, Felix.
Yeah, good evening, Shaggy.
Felix, what I would like to ask Ghanaians this evening, what are you expecting from a man who wants to leave Ghana and he has sold his property? What are you expecting in return? Look, if we were to be 1999, they will ask Ghanaians, what they already. Because they cannot ask Ghanaians what we already. That's why they are making noise of judgment there. Meanwhile, they created that reckless mess over there, and today they are making up. Let me correct this perception.
Okay.
NPP may change names. They can do nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay. We all know NDC government has national mobilization program. NPP changed them to National Youth Employment Program.
Okay.
Within 3 years and 4 years of President today, we have left them, youth in road maintenance. Roads are being created. Since 1972, a road has been constructed in Nima, a dilapidated road in front of Nana Akufo-Addo house. And today, that road has been done. Today, Nima, under President 3 years, we are having secondary schools in contracted.
Okay.
There is a gap between Nima East and Mamobi West. That road was today is being constructed.
Okay.
And you are telling me to vote for a man who has sold his property, just expensive to leave this country.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Shaggy. Let me pick Ali. Hello, Ali.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Ali.
Yeah, good evening. I'm calling from Wa.
Okay, Ali from Wa. You're live.
Yes, yes. In fact, you people have made my mind. I should even go and sleep now and believe that the Better Ghana agenda is just on course.
Okay.
Brought all the way.
Okay.
Come to Wa and see. Nobody will even tell you that there is something called Better Ghana.
Okay.
You would see it conspicuously. Conspicuously. The Nado King camouflage people, they thought that he had a message for them. He didn't have anything. Just listen to them. Just listen to them. They don't have any message.
Okay.
Because they themselves, they are marveled.
Okay.
They are confused.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ali. Let me pick Samuel from Bimbila. Hello, Samuel.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Samuel.
Yeah. What I want to say is that today the MPP people are using the Wyoming case as a campaign. in 2007, when we had Ghana at 50, they gave Penny and then Bebe that project. When they finished it, was Penny and Boku Bebe having appointment letters to that Ghana at 50. Mm-hmm. They spent a lot of money, and at the end of the day, they couldn't account for it. All Ghanaians saw that they couldn't account for those money.
Okay.
And today they are just valuing on the Wyoming issue.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they couldn't account for that money they use on that activity.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
And so if they are saying that, they should also tell us what they use the money, and then this guy should also produce those documents.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Samuel. Let me pick Pride from Accra. Hello, Pride.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, Pride. You're live on Caucus.
Good. I want to comment on the issue that you are raising. Okay. You see, first of all, we should know that the Better Ghana agenda that you are championing has nothing to do with Nana Akufo-Addo's image. Anytime there is issue of Better Ghana agenda or anything with regard to NDC, then you attack the personality of Nana Addo. Nana Addo has nothing to do with you. Number two, you are talking about what? Doing a lot.
Yeah, make it snappy.
But you also know that it is within this time that you have oil revenue.
How much
revenue have to do with
Pride. Hello, Pride. How much is the oil revenue?
I don't know. But all of us must know that oil revenue, even if it's a minute, it has contributed to what you are touting today.
Okay. But you don't know how much is it, but you think that it has contributed to the development of Ghana today?
Yes.
Okay, but Pride, by way of information, I want to inform you. By way of information, Ghana only started exporting oil in the latter part of 2011. So that is a point of correction. Yeah, you can finish up now.
Yeah. Let me conclude. You see, it is also mean that during your time, you have contracted the most loan in the country history before.
And that is also not true, my brother. That is also not true. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Thank you very much, Pride, for calling. Yeah. Let me come back to Wanda and then Peter, my guest, to round up. Yeah. If you want to respond to some of the callers. Peter.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Felix, you see, it is not because somebody wants to focus on Nana Akufo-Addo, but in talking about the Better Ghana agenda, you relate it to the comments of Nana Akufo-Addo, and you would have to find the reason why Nana Akufo-Addo will be making the comments he makes about the Better Ghana agenda. That aside, you see, when we talk about the Better Ghana agenda, apart from the monumental achievements that we can see, that we can touch, there are some achievements that you cannot touch, that you cannot see. Yeah. For instance, when you look at how we've been able to better the lives of the people by increasing money supply to over 44%, through the single spine salary structure. It's just amazing.
Okay.
What that thing does is that people are able to start small businesses because there is excess liquidity.
Okay. So they are able to produce more?
They are able to increase productivity.
Okay.
That is why they are amazed about the 14.4% GDP growth that we had in 2011.
Okay,
and they don't understand, they think it's oil.
Okay, let me come to
I am more concerned about my colleagues or my folks on the southern sector. We're told, and it's happening live, that they are going to build landing beaches. Yeah. When we say landing beaches, we need harbors, mini harbors, fishing harbors. Yeah. I know what that can do to my fisher folks, my friends and my colleagues. I come from the southern sector. Yeah. I come from Amutino, to be specific. And we've seen what fishing community can do. We've seen what the fishing harbor can do. And that's what President Moses wants to do. 10 of them in just 4 years. 10 happening live. And that's fantastic. And I think that my people should join hands with the president and give him a second chance.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And then perhaps the most exciting journey under the Better Ghana agenda is the introduction of these solar panel traffic lights. That is good. That's a project that is currently taking place. Yeah, and then we are moving towards renewable energy. There are talks with some investment for us to begin harvesting wind as a source of energy supply. By December, one of the turbines at the Bui Dam is going to come on stream, and all these things are going to add to the energy stock of the good people of Ghana. As we speak, there's also a cement factory, Savannah Cement, in the Sada Belt in the northern region, and all this contributed to the success story of the Better Ghana agenda. We need more of such development. We need more to push Ghana forward into that country that we want to see our children and our great-grandchildren to benefit tomorrow. And this can only happen under the great leadership of His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills. We are urging you to keep supporting the Better Ghana agenda. And let me say thank you to all my callers and all of you who sent text messages.